This week, it's a slow news week, so we're catching up and giving our review for Season 2 of The Last of Us. This is the Good Game, Bad Game podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Good Game, Bad Game podcast. I'm your host, Spencer, and with me is a man who didn't really have a concept of how much a point of meth was. Which, by the way, is that the measuring unit of meth? Anyway, didn't have a concept of how much a point of meth was until known loser Randy Pitchford pointed out it's more than the cost of Devolver Digital's upcoming game, Mycopunk. It's my co-host, Mike. Mike, how much is a point of meth?
Known loser, first of all. Hilarious.
That's 3 weeks running, 4 weeks running that I've had a chance to dunk on Randy Pitchford.
Let's just keep it going. Slow news week, but fast Randy Pitchford week.
He keeps giving, and we keep taking.
I need to just I'm criminally not really on Twitter anymore.
Good.
But I need to every time I try, it's just it's just shit I don't even follow. Like even on my following tab, I know there's a difference between the following and whatever they call it for you or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just dog shit, or it's Kojima just retweeting every 10 seconds. So my feed is just stuff from Kojima, which is fine. Just I can't understand it because it's all in Japanese. Yeah, I need to just put notifications on for Randy Pitchford, or there's got to be an account that's just Randy Pitchford radar or something like that. Every time he says something fucking stupid, or just says something, because what's the difference?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what a point of meth is. I also didn't know that was the scale.
Yeah, is that
I'm
weight?
Guessing we is it a basis point?
Right.
Meth economics.
Right. Also, just to be clear, one, you don't need to turn on notifications for Randy Pitchford. People will let you know if he said something stupid. Trust me.
Are you the people?
Yes.
You basically are my Twitter at this point. It's kind of nice. In my catered Twitter feed.
Yeah, I'm just slowly, losing all brain cells in an effort to keep you up to date.
I appreciate that. You're my human shield.
Yeah, I got you. This is
I'm the little man in the picture, and you're the big man over me with all the arrows in the back.
Yeah, and the knives and everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're telling me about how they feel.
Yeah. This was all in response because Devolver Digital did a little dunking of their own after on an IGN post discussing the whole, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen in regards to Borderlands 4 potentially costing $80, which was last week's intro's dunk. And Devolver Digital tweeted, "You're going to be able to buy Mycopunk for you and 3 of your friends for the price of 1 copy of Borderlands 4. And that, was apparently enough for Randy Pitchford to try and punch back by, talking about his meth economics, knowledge. Also kind of a prime, I would say, candidate for this post has been deleted, and it's amazing that I can click on it and it's still there. He left it up full week on, and he didn't think, hey, maybe I should delete this. So
does it have the? Sorry, go ahead.
No, so I was just gonna say, good for him, I guess.
Does it have the obligatory comment, first one that says the best time to delete this was right after tweeting it. The second best time is now. I feel like that's got to be somewhere in that thread.
Looks like the most relevant reply I'm seeing, which of course is just just anybody who has a check mark. But the top reply I'm seeing is I'm going to pirate Borderlands 4. Oh, Mycopunk, Devolver Digital did a reply that has
Wow.
like a on the box quote about how great like the game is, and the quote says like meth but without the side effects. Um,
is is Devolver like our video game Lord and Savior?
they're
It's
pretty.
starting to feel that way.
They're definitely they're definitely solid. Yeah, I I tip my cap to them.
Like them and Annapurna, I feel like are
Yeah, yeah. Kind of like the kings of value, right? Like they deliver on those like $20 price points typically
yeah.
pretty well. Um, yeah, yeah, big fan of Devolver.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they were the ones who helped with Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah.
So I
You
wonder
got
if
that
they
tattooed on you.
what's that?
And you got that tattooed on you.
I did not, but yeah,
Oh, well, one of those games.
yeah, one of
They're all
them.
the same.
Damn, that's crazy.
Which one did you get tattooed on you?
Binding of Isaac.
Oh, right. Are they Devolver?
They're all the same. No, they're not.
Oh.
They are uh oh god, I can't even remember like the main guy's name.
Randy?
Yes, that sounds right. Randy Pitchford maybe.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Damn, getting a Randy Pitchford creation tattooed on you is amazing.
It's a cry for help. Much like tweeting about knowing the cost of a point of meth.
Yeah, so I'm starting
Anyway.
to think like we spent all that time in Pennsylvania and we just didn't wander far enough down the hollows to learn the nomenclature of meth.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I guess it's the little moments like these that make me realize I really haven't gone out and lived, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Um how have you been?
I,
What games have you been playing?
I've got bad news. Well, I've got hmm.
You've got news.
I, but it's not news. It's pretty much the expectation at this point that I haven't played Super Mario Sunshine. I think we're going to get back into the territory of I'm going to turn my GameCube on and it's not going to work again.
Oh, no.
Which I told you that story, right? I had to solder in a new
Mm-hmm.
CMOS battery. Yeah, that was fun. I feel like I feel like I didn't get enough credit for that when beating Luigi's Mansion.
You didn't get
Um,
enough credit from me, from general public, or from Luigi's Mansion.
yes.
Okay. I'm I'm sitting
I
and
would.
I'm listening
Oh.
and I'm learning.
Okay, I guess I'm mostly mad at Luigi's Mansion because the fact that I had to take my GameCube apart and beat it, and it still had the audacity to give me a rank F. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
that's yeah. I guess that's what the F stands for. It's fair. Um, yeah. So bad news on the Super Mario Sunshine front, but we'll see. I have good news on the Split Fiction front, though.
I was going to ask for an update about this, so I'm really happy to
Yeah,
hear.
here we are. Um, sometime this weekend. I don't remember what day it was. We played Split Fiction well past midnight.
Okay.
It was like 10:30, and we're like, let's finish this section up. And we
And
did that. And
and
then we
that
started
section was the
achievement
game.
hunting.
Oh.
Pretty much. It was the second to last like chapter.
Hell yeah.
which was quite long. So yeah, we're on the last chapter. We haven't started it yet. But we went back and did some achievement hunting, and we got one achievement that we did not think was going to be possible. So we were pretty certain we are going to 1,000 gamer score it.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's exciting. Um, you haven't played it yet, right?
Have not, no.
Okay. All right.
I know.
It's awesome. It's so good, and you should play it.
Yeah. Yeah. I really gotta get on it.
If you had an Xbox, you and I could play it together for free.
Actually, you know what? I actually think we can play it together for free regardless. If I'm understanding correctly, I think there's cross-platform.
Oh, really? So we just have to connect our EA accounts or something like that?
Yeah, I think if you do cross-platform, you have to connect to an EA account.
Okay. Which I think
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know if we both would have to or what, but like I know whoever is joining would need to.
gotcha.
No, I do really want to play it together, but I am also just going to get it because I know Shelby and I are going to want to play it. We absolutely loved It Takes Two.
Good couples therapy.
Yeah, definitely. We went from that into Portal 2, and actually, yeah, I don't even think I told you. Shelby and I, yeah, we got a divorce.
Yeah,
because of Portal 2. So, but no, definitely very excited to jump into Split Fiction.
You'll be happy to hear that there's a Portal trophy in the game.
Of course,
that'll reopen some wounds when you get there.
Well, nice. That's great news. That's exciting news.
Yeah,
regarding Split Fiction.
Well, I'm sure we'll probably beat it this week or this weekend or something.
Yeah.
Depending on how life goes.
Nice. Anything else that you got up to?
I played like 10 more minutes of Indiana Jones.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And you said that's enough?
I went to bed. I think this was like after we played Split Fiction until
Gotcha.
1 or 2 a.m.
Gotcha.
I want to play it though.
Yeah.
I want to play a lot of things.
I'll hold on to that.
Oh.
No, what? Go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I said what I needed to say.
Okay.
There'll be a little Easter egg in there when you if you go back to edit.
Oh yeah, you know me, dude. I'm constantly going back.
I'm trying to make you look good.
All right. Well, stop it. You just make a note
was
here.
Made by hand in North Carolina.
13-minute mark. Mike says something. Listen back. Yeah, hold on to that thought process of I really want to play Indiana Jones, but because there is one question I was going to ask in our slow news week that I thought might lead to some fun conversation. But to catch you up on what I've been playing, I also have bad news.
But you already started it.
I did already start it, and then I have yet to go back to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, got that going for me. But I have good news. Kind of in a similar back and forth ping pong approach that you had. And my good news is, I've been playing a lot of MLB The Show. Bear with me.
Good.
And early into the into the game cycle, they did like a whole thing that's, every team has a program tied to it. You can earn a bunch of players, and then there's also vouchers for future players who are going to be coming. So you can earn points towards the program and actually earn these vouchers, so that one's tied to the All-Star game, so you can collect whatever team's All-Star player as soon as it drops, basically, as long as you've already earned the voucher. And then for the finest player, which is effectively just like every team's either fan favorite, MVP, whatever, that gets released probably like sometime in September. So you can like earn those ahead of time, which is kind of fun. And so that's what I was working towards, just as I like kind of grind out the content of the game. And basically all you have to do is use players from those teams. Long story long, I am basically close to having both of the vouchers for every single team, which means that I will effectively have no new content, or like nothing that I necessarily like have to grind towards. I have every single Cardinals player leveled up to parallel 5. I have every single other like side program completed and everything like that. So the good news is that here shortly in the month of June, 2 months, 3 months into the life cycle of the game, I will finally be putting it down regularly and picking it back up regularly as new stuff gets put out. But I'll be putting it down regularly, which means I'll get to experience and play all these fun games, mainly Red Dead Redemption, because, that's our fucking homework.
Why do we give ourselves homework?
Because it's fun.
Mm.
Because you hate it for 16 years if you go to college, and well, I guess actually more than that, depending on how much effort you put into college, and it's the thing that you hate the most about school. But then as soon as you get out of school, you're like, I kind of miss it. I kind of miss this thing that regularly gave me anxiety and panic attacks if I forgot to do it. So,
Yeah. For the
yeah,
record, I guess because I'm only 2 years out from finishing my most recent degree,
yeah,
it doesn't exactly feel that way for me yet.
yeah, yeah. I don't think it really feels that way for me. I call it homework to kind of like neg myself, but like I like to think of them more as like little challenges. But at the end of the day, what is a challenge if not just homework, self-made homework?
Sure.
But it's like something you want to do, right? Or like you hope to do. So
It'll feel really good when it's done. Maybe.
yeah, maybe. No guarantees, technically.
Or maybe I'll complete it and my life will be just as void as it was before I started.
Could very well be. It's the dice roll. It's the gamble that we all take. I can say another game that I've played that wasn't Red Dead Redemption, but was something other than MLB that I played. I started a game. It's called Inscription. I don't know if you've heard of it or seen about it, but it's just it's a rogue light deck builder.
Like tic-tac-toe or
Um,
I'm just gonna put myself on mute.
That's really it. It's a roguelite deck builder, and I started playing it, and it was like immediately scratched that part of my brain, and so I'm very excited to play more of that. But yeah, otherwise can't really report back on too much. I mentioned about holding on to, you said about you want to play Indiana Jones, but you haven't really, given it the full college try to reference back to that. I was thinking about it just because, again, not much to talk about this week. There's been a couple of really solid releases this year, and I think at least for me personally, a lot of games that I'm particularly hyped for. One of those is Split Fiction, which you've obviously had the opportunity to play. Um, and that's, I think, a top three ranked game per Metacritic this year right now. I think the only two games, it might be tied with Blueprints, and I think the number one game, which is sitting at a 92, and I believe Split Fiction and Blueprints are both at 91. But sitting at a 92 is Clair Obscur. All three of those games are games that I'm like really itching to play. I actually have the ability to play Blueprints because that's on the PlayStation Plus extra catalog, and I know for a fact that there's like no risk involved with either of Clair Obscur and Split Fiction. But I also have all these other games that I want to play, not to mention the fact that I have to play Red Dead Redemption. But yeah, I was wondering and just kind of curious where you're at. I know you're still playing through Ghost of Tsushima, and obviously you have Indiana Jones sitting there waiting in the wings. And I just kind of wanted to see, a little bit of a pulse check. Like, where are you at in terms of the games that you are most itching to play? And I was curious if there's been any new releases this year that have like really jumped out at you, or just even recently, if there's something else at the tail end, because Indiana Jones was tail end of last year. If there's anything else tail end of last year that's like rocketed up your list that, you're like, unfortunately, this is the game that I really want to play next amidst all of these other games that I have to play. And I was just curious where you're at.
Yeah. Ghost of Tsushima, I'm still making like really slow progress on, but I'm not terribly upset with kind of where I'm at. I basically I try to think about the story every now and then, even though if I know I'm not going to play the game, just to make sure that I like remember where I am
Mm-hmm.
and like what's happened so far. Because like I'm not too upset with making that game stretch until closer to Ghost of Yotai coming out.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
So I've been chipping away at that pretty slowly. Um I'm fearful that I'll have like a Starfield moment with it, which like I feel like Ghost of Tsushima is way less overwhelming than Starfield is. Like I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I can't even go back into Starfield at this point. Or I'd have to start a new game and I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Uh so yeah, there's that. Indiana Jones, like I'm really stoked to play just because I want it to be like Uncharted. I know it's not going to be, and I don't love the first person. Um but um I still think it's kind of the same in the same vein as Uncharted with like the exploration, the kind of like the treasure hunting, the combat, things like that. Um, and Troy Baker, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all good stuff. So I'll here's where I'm at. I want to commit to playing it, but also we have Split Fiction, which has been incredible. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure that'll probably be my personal game of the year. Uh, the main game that I could see possibly overtaking it is South of Midnight, which
Ooh.
that's probably like out of all the games that have come out in the past 12 months, the one I'm most excited for, other than Split Fiction, of
Yeah.
course. Um, but Justine apparently has taken an interest in this game as well and has been like watching trailers and gameplay videos and things like that. So when we finish Split Fiction, she kind of wants to do like a pass the controller playthrough of South of
Oh,
Midnight, which will be kind
nice.
of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice. I love that.
yeah. And that'll be probably like the first time we've done that. Um, so that'll be fun. I'm excited. I'm glad she's excited for that game. Um, so we're gonna play that, and I have a feeling that that's gonna be like a top tier game for me.
Yeah, I honestly kind of forgot about South of Midnight. But that's also one that I'm actually very eager to hear your thoughts and reactions um, for that game. And I love the I love the um, kind of like seamless ability to already have your next game for like you and Justine to kind of experience together. Um, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, we're just trying to prepare. Like, we don't have a ton of couch co-op games
Right.
on the docket. We break out Mario Kart every now and then. Uh, we have this game. We have a couple games on Switch that are 2-player. We just kind of like fall in and out of it.
Sure.
Um, one of them is Kiwi, which I don't know if you've played that game yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um, there's that game, and then I have Brothers on Switch as well that I really want to play.
Is Brothers couch co-op, or why did I think that was just one controller?
I don't really know what it is, to be honest with
I
you.
could have sworn very
It very
unique.
well.
Um, sorry, I'm pretty sure it like splits your controller down the middle, and the right side controls the one brother, and the left side controls the other. I could be totally wrong, and I don't know
Oh, is
why.
that?
I don't
Oh,
know why that's sticking out in my head, but I could have sworn that's the scheme. And you know, uh, yeah, like uh, the way that you play the game. I
is
could
it
be
meant to
wrong.
be a 2-player game
I don't think
or a
so.
single-player game?
I think it's meant to be single player, but again,
Well,
I could be totally off base here. So
I guess the good news is that Joy-Cons break in half. So
yeah, yeah. Honestly, the Switch might be the most interesting platform to play that game because you can turn it into a two player
yeah,
in a way. So um,
we shall see.
yeah, I mean, obviously, it's it's tricky to talk about games you want to play and stuff like that, especially in a time like this, because again, next Friday is going to be Summer Games Fest. So obviously, there's going to be a you'd have to imagine there will be at least a handful of games shown or announced that will at the very least pique your interest. So it's just the constant shuffle of where to put your attention next. Um, but yeah, I was again, I was looking at Metacritic, um, and yeah, we're not even halfway into the year, and we've definitely seen some really solid games, uh, come out. Uh, I was wrong. Clair Obscur and Blueprints both have a 92. Split Fiction is at a 91. Monster Hunter Wilds released this year, back in February. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 had a ton of acclaim. Um, and kind of like, I would say for the most part, games that have, I would say, decent, like widespread appeal can probably hit like a pretty large audience. And I think have done that well. So, uh, definitely been a very solid year so far. I'm very excited for for what's to come for the rest of the year. Doom, the new Doom came out this year.
Yeah. Um, it was one of those games I really wish I could get into, and
Yeah,
maybe I could, because they look like just complete chaos. But I don't know. I just don't know if I could.
I kind of feel like Doom would be a semi perfect game for you, just because of it seems like a game that you can kind of like play a level, and the levels aren't super. I would imagine aren't like super long. Kind of get through one and
Mm.
be able to put it back down.
It's
And
still kind of like, I was say, still kind of arcadey like it used to be.
yeah, like you're just running around ripping through stuff. Don't have to think too much.
That's true, I suppose. Maybe I should give one a try.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
Game
maybe
Pass
you
not like I
should.
have anything to lose.
Yeah, yeah. And man, Game Pass, yeah, still really bringing the value all these years on. Um, just insane. I know people have very strong opinions about Microsoft's kind of willingness to move exclusives, away from the platform and put them elsewhere. But it seems like the perfect path for them to do a little bit of double dipping. We talked about it probably 2 maybe 3 weeks ago, but like the top selling games on PlayStation, like 3 of the top 10 were Xbox games. I think it was like Forza, um, the Oblivion remaster, and might have been like Sea of Thieves or
Mm.
one of the ones that had been moved, a little bit ago. And yeah, you let people capitalize on Game Pass and have the ability to play it day one, and also just like they've had so many good games on there, um, that aren't just under the Xbox umbrella. But either way, like just just having that ability to like very low risk. Yeah, you have to pay the subscription fee, obviously, but otherwise, like you're not outright paying 60, 70, $80 for a game and kind of like having to take that risk and wondering like, oh fuck, if I don't like this, I'm now out that $70 and I could have put that towards XYZ. Instead, it's, you paid the $20 for the month. You can try any and every game and, new releases. And if it doesn't register with you, well, there's likely something else in the catalog that is worth your $20 you paid for the month. And
Right.
it's just so fantastic. And I genuinely hope people kind of use it that way. But um,
I think the one feature that they finally kind of matured is the cloud gaming. And not even so much in the sense that, like, oh, I want to go play a game while I'm traveling, I can just stream it on my phone.
mhm,
But the amount of times, like, I did this with Indiana Jones, uh, that I just streamed it from my Xbox. I actually, a lot of times I'll play it on my One X. Like, if I want to try a game out and I don't want to, like, commit to downloading it, or if I'm just
mhm.
like, oh, I should try this game out and it's like top of mind right now. I can just go on either of my Xboxes and play it immediately. Uh, which like good enough experience for demoing a game. Uh, I think there are very few games I would play all the way through like that. Uh, but I think that's matured a lot, and it's such a
Mhm.
good value add for Game Pass. I mean, again, like Doom, I could go as soon as we're off this call. I could go downstairs and play it immediately. I could
Yep.
say, "Oh, I'm gonna go play the first half hour of it," and if I hate it, I didn't even have to download it.
Yeah, I mean it's fantastic. It really is. It's yeah. The demo landscape, I will say, has kind of shifted into now this. You know,
Mhm.
you pay a subscription and kind of have a trillion air quotes demos at your disposal, but like if you like it, you don't get timed out after 30 minutes. If you
Right.
like it, you keep ripping, you keep going. Um, but
It's such an
yeah,
amazing feeling too. I got to kind of experience it with the PS5, but with these catalogs, I mean, you get a new console and it's just like the in air quotes like shopping spree you can go on.
right.
I mean, you can fill up your hard drive in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
play Call of Duty and 2K.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you meant by shopping spree, right?
Yeah,
Pay
I can download Fortnite, Call of Duty, and 2K.
yeah, pay full price for Call of Duty and 2K and pay the price of storage.
Yep.
Um yeah, I don't really have anything else you know, current, but yeah, it's just curious where you were at. I love your timing with Tsushima and how that's going to roll into Yotai pretty perfectly for you. Which is great.
Yeah, I at this point I'm more fearful that I'm gonna fall behind. Like, but no, that game is so good, and like it's. I know this is kind of like old man, not really yelling at clouds, but remembering better days, thinking everything was better back in your prime,
hmm
also known as eighth grade. Um,
you peaked in middle school.
yeah, I didn't even peak in high school. I peaked in middle school. It's all downhill from there.
Ah.
As soon as I graduated Dare. Um, but like I don't know. I think back to like PS3 and even like some degree of PS4 era, but for me it was really PS3 era of like it was just incredible game after incredible game.
mm.
Like first party Sony games, and
hmm
Ghost of Tsushima kind of gives me that feeling. So to just kind of carry the momentum of like being excited about Ghost of Tsushima, even though it's, you know, a generation old at this point, but it's still kind of new to me, and then have it go into Yotai, like I can see that kind of absorbing my life this fall and winter.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
good because GTA 6 won't be out, allegedly.
Yes, sir. We still have
Borderlands 4
literally.
though.
Yeah, yep. Borderlands 4 will be there to suck up any extra time you have. Have no fear.
Yep.
Yeah, we're officially 1 year away from just under a year now, actually. From GTA 6. Allegedly, like you said. We should put that after any mentions of it.
Unless Randy Pitchford has something to say about it.
This fucking guy.
This fucking guy.
All right. Well, Last of Us season 2 wrapped up. Shall we give our full-blown review as huge fans of The Last of Us?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Let's do it.
before we get into it, I guess since I feel like we'll be very spoiler heavy, if you haven't watched the show, I think we both would give a big recommendation to watch it. At least I would. I won't speak for you, Mike, but don't want to ruin it because I definitely think it's something that's worth experiencing, in the moment. So, this is your warning to leave, and maybe never come back, or just come back next week, and we'll give our hopes and dreams for Summer Games Fest. Now, without further ado, we technically have 3 episodes to catch up on, which is why I kind of just figured at this point, because we have the finale, and the season's done. We might as well just really just talk about the season as a whole. What we liked about some changes that they made, and yeah, and kind of like how we feel about the clear way that they're splitting up the story, like in the game, and yeah, maybe like what we're hoping for season 3. But first, overall thoughts, and I guess if there's anything specific that you want to dive into with the last 3 episodes, take the floor, Mike.
I need to call out one very important thing first,
Please.
and that's that they finally used future days,
Mm-hmm.
which made me cry up, down, and sideways.
I was gonna say, did Did you get real choked up? That was episode 6, right?
Maybe in 5 and 6. It was in 2 episodes because in one, like, Ellie starts playing it
Yep.
and then stops pretty much immediately.
Yep.
And then there's one where it's Ellie's birthday and Joel's playing it for her.
Yep. That was episode 6. Episode 6 was the flashback episode where
Okay,
we
so then
got 3-4 years of birthdays.
Yeah. 16 to
16
at
to
least
19.
19.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did finally get future days.
Yes, that was good. Such canon,
Yes.
as the kids say. No, I thought it was great. The whole season, like, again, it's the same thing they did with season 1, where it was familiar if you played the game, but there are also some extra details, some extra lore that you didn't get. And a lot of anxiety-inducing PTSD moments,
Mm-hmm.
like when Ellie was going through the hospital and she goes into that room that's just like completely overgrown with spores,
Mm-hmm.
and you just think about the worst boss fight ever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
I was kind of shocked they didn't do anything with that. Like, that was kind of a tease.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a little shocked that we didn't get that because, yeah, I mean, that was a major boss fight in the
Yeah.
game, which, not that. Obviously, with a show, I get that, like, the real monsters are the humans and stuff like that, right? So, like, I kind of get it to that degree, but yeah, I was a little more hopeful there.
Yeah, overall, I mean, I thought it was great. I think the way they're splitting it out is really cool.
Yep.
Because I definitely spent a lot of time like, wow, this is just focusing on Ellie. But I think it's smart. I think TV would have been a little more confusing if you were jumping back and forth the whole time.
Yeah.
And no, go ahead.
No, I don't know. I actually don't know where I net out because this is how the game went, right? Like the game went, you're playing as Ellie, you're doing everything in Seattle, you do the first 3 days and everything, you get to the theater, and then you have the way the season ends, with Abby confronting the group at the theater, and then it cuts to black, and it switches, and you pick up as Abby and you play, the first 3 days of Seattle, but from Abby's perspective, and that's to me exactly what they're doing with the show. And I honestly thought, um, from a show standpoint, I was worried that it would almost feel too disjointed by having, you have Caitlin Devers as Abby, kind of like a solid name to tie to the show, and she's there for the first 2 episodes, and that's it. You don't see her again, and I was worried that would really like rub people the wrong way or like confuse them maybe, instead of like maybe having the opportunity to kind of be like, you don't know much about this person, but like here's what they're doing, here's why they're doing what they're doing, after you start to get some of that like kind of revealed to you. I don't know. I really went back and forth on how they would do it. I actually am really excited that they decided to kind of stick close to the game and just really split the perspectives, because yeah, now it seems like with season 3 they're really setting up that, at least to start the season, I would imagine the first 3 episodes, if not maybe 4 to 5 episodes, will be those first 3 days for Abby, and leading up to, again, the theater confrontation. And I think it's going to be cool because I think there were certain things that happened in season 1 that we're now going to get to see and hear from like a different perspective, like when that the last episode, Ellie gets caught by the Seraphites and the horns start getting sounded. Well, it's like, that that moment is going to happen, or at least, I have some level of certainty and pray that that moment happens, but we see the moment that causes the horn to go off. And when we hear the horn get blown, we're like, oh shit, Ellie just got dropped and is now running back to the beach to get back on the boat to make it to the aquarium. And I love when you get those moments in movies and TV where you're like piecing together and you're jumping through time and stuff to like, oh shit, that's what that is, and like you kind of have those like realizations. Anyway, very long-winded way of saying that I'm really excited for how they're setting up to do it, and was kind of thinking they would shy away from it maybe, but I think it'll be great.
Hello.
There we go. All right.
Don't know what's going on. Okay. Good news. You have to edit now.
Yeah, I do now have to edit. Correct.
Mine worked. I don't know if you heard what I said, but I guess not, but when you were done talking, I said I wanted to voice one complaint and then move on to like season 3.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My one complaint is I found the pacing to be very confusing.
Okay.
Like Ellie and Dina and what's his name, who comes out to Seattle to find them? Not Tommy.
Jesse, yeah.
Like if they're out in the woods with the Seraphites and Dina gets shot.
Yep.
In the leg. They go through that, they run out of the woods, and then like the screen goes to black, and then Ellie's just like outside the hospital.
Yeah, I also thought that felt very disjointed.
And I don't remember them talking about like going to the hospital, that there was people there, and maybe I missed it. I don't know, but
I think so.
It just felt weird.
If I'm remembering correctly, so Dina gets shot. Ellie's like, "Go! You like got to get her back, get her to safety. Like we got to split up. It's the safest way." Ellie manages to get out of the woods and like kind of had the realization of like, "Oh fuck, the hospital's right there," and then like she was in the hospital, and it was just like it did really just jump like very quick.
See, and I don't know if there was something wrong with my HBO, but like her seeing the hospital was not a scene for me. It was literally just like she was in the woods and then it cut to black and then she was outside the hospital.
Gotcha.
With the dog barking.
Yeah.
And I also watched somebody did like a side by side of like the game versus the show. And there was like a scene with Abby in the last episode, I think it was, that again I didn't see at all. And I like went back and I rewinded and it just wasn't there for me. So I thought that was weird.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Like there's one where Abby is like on the couch reading a magazine or something. And then like that one guy walks in to talk to her. The other young guy.
Owen?
Yeah.
Or
I think it was Owen.
Okay.
Blonde guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that scene just wasn't there.
Oh. I actually also don't feel like I remember a scene with Owen outside of the aquarium.
Yeah.
Interesting. I also might need to now double back. Yeah, there were definitely moments I agree with, like the pacing aspect, where like it almost feels like to me the season could have been, closer to 10 episodes. You could have taken maybe a little bit more time with things, but also I understand that like you don't need to showcase like moving through gameplay tunnels,
Sure.
and that get you to the destinations. That's kind of the beauty of like TV and movies, is like you can kind of just jump to that point to some degree. I would say
yes, but
go ahead.
I do wish they would have had like one episode of just kind of like going around Seattle.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to see, you
Yep.
know?
I would agree. Yeah, we didn't get the bank vault.
No, didn't get the bank vault. Um, and I just feel like the overall like you didn't really sense the presence of the wolf
Yeah.
in the city, or like I don't know. There was this like underlying story of like the wolf and the Seraphites fighting, and like you knew they were fighting, but you didn't really know why or like
Hmm.
what the extent of it was. You just knew they were fighting. And
Right.
again, not like that's really important, but
It's
I
also
don't know.
something that we'll probably get more of in season 2. I would imagine, or season
I'm
3.
sure. I'm sure,
So,
but
but yeah, no, I definitely agree there. I would say my biggest complaint. So, um, first off, a lot of people, maybe it's just because I'm like in. Well, it doesn't help that I'm on social media. So obviously, like hate and negativity is like what gets the best reactions. But
mhm.
a lot of people seem to be upset with some of the creative changes that were taken with the show. Specifically that Ellie maybe isn't quite as like cutthroat as in the game. Um, Obviously, you had the moment in the hospital where she basically beat Maria. No, Maria's Owen's girlfriend or situationship. Um, Fuck, I can't remember people's names, but yeah, she beat her within an inch of her life, trying to figure out where Abby was, and kind of was willing to go to those lengths. And like, kind of that was like a moment that in the show to me signified a flip of the switch in Ellie already, where it was just like, wow, like I brutally and slowly killed a person, and
Mhm.
like I don't feel good about it. And I actually am like fine with that because, for whatever it's worth, for whatever people's feelings are on the game as a whole, and maybe the ending of the game, especially if they aren't going to continue the story, falls a bit more flat. If you go back and play it, but I think kind of the ending is that like a cycle of violence is just going to continue, is going to continue, is going to continue until somebody makes the decision to stop the violence, right? And like senseless killing is going to be senseless killing. So when you have the moment in the aquarium in the final episode, um, where my impression is Ellie is going into the aquarium and she does not want to kill them. She literally all she wants in life is to kill Abby, right? Like
Mhm.
she wants revenge on Abby, and that is it. That is my impression. Whereas in the game Ellie is willing to, if you are in her way, she will kill anyone and everyone on her path to Abby. And I do think that is a slight difference, and it's one that I'm pretty fine with, honestly. But some people didn't like that. Effectively, she killed Owen because he, pulled a gun. Um, and by killing Owen, the bullet glances Maria, I think is her name, in the neck, and she accidentally kills her, and then finds out that she's
Mhm.
also pregnant after accidentally killing her. And again, I kind of am okay with the change. Um, like I think it kind of helps to like show how Ellie is going to reach the conclusion that this sucks, and now the episode ends with Jesse getting killed, and it's like people that I love, people that Abby loves, like they just keep getting hurt and dying in all of this. Is it really like yeah, is it worth it to keep doing this to just kill the person who killed Joel? And I'm kind of fine with it. I think a lot of people are upset about it. The only thing I'm upset about is that we didn't get a scene, and maybe we will, but we didn't get a scene where we got uh like psycho Ellie. And I think the moment would have been in the hospital leading up to like in like the chase. If we would have gotten like a bunch of like her just like popping people left and right,
Hmm.
and just like being like in a blind rage chasing down this person to get information on Abby, I would have loved that. Would have only needed one moment of just like a mercenary of death, uh, Ellie. But otherwise, I'm kind of fine with like the slight tone change for the show.
Yeah, I definitely think that would have been a good opportunity to do it. But she did have like where she catches, she's interrogating the one friend who was exposed to the spores, and she just breaks her legs with a lead pipe and then leaves her there and doesn't even kill her.
Yeah, I'm saying that like leading to that, like that entire chase, if she was like killing people throughout the hospital, it would have been very satisfying. Because like that is the entire Last of Us Part 2 game, is like you are
Yeah,
going through and you are methodically killing a ton of people just to simply get to a person who hopefully has information on where Abby is. And then
yeah,
the end goal of like, and then I will find her, and then I will also kill her for what she has done. I will kill everybody in my way, and then I will kill her.
yeah,
And again, totally fine with like the tone change. But yeah, getting like one moment of just like slowly working through an area and just like popping 10 dudes to get to somebody would have been like extremely satisfying, I feel like.
yeah,
But again, like it's like the slight changes that they're making, and again, not ones that I'm necessarily upset about.
yeah. It's a different rendition on it, and I think that like the violence kind of plays really well in the game. Like it's a game. Like you
Of
want
course.
to do that stuff. Um, I do think that like this is a better representation of like how somebody's personality would actually change if you went through what Ellie went through. Because like in The Last of Us, like in the game, like Ellie's this jovial kid making jokes all the time, and then
Hmm.
all of a sudden, like in The Last of Us Part Two, she's just a stone cold killer. Like
Hmm.
that felt like a very fast switch. Again, not that I'm like think that's wrong or bad, but in the TV show, you can still kind of see like the kid that Ellie was.
Hmm.
Um, and she is a little more compassionate, I would say. And I think just kind of watching that breakdown is a little more what I would think would happen in real life.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, so yeah, I mean it's a different rendition. I'm not complaining about it because if this were exactly the same as the game, then what's the point in watching it? Um,
Inclined to agree with
I
that. Yep.
yeah, and I think this again plays really well to the casting of Bella Ramsey.
Yes, I would agree.
I think if you would have had a carbon copy of Ellie as the actress, uh, like the video game Ellie for the actress, but you wrote the same story, I don't think it would play as well. I think Bella Ramsey does a really good job of kind of the duality of like still kind of being like, I mean, this joking, jovial kid for all intents and purposes. I know she's what 20 or
19 or 20.
21 or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, it's like not really a kid, but still, a young adult, and like being a killer. Like you wouldn't expect that out of her, just given her like natural uh personality and appearance. So it's just kind of more shocking that she's able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think she was a good cast pick for it. Now that the season's over and we know how things played out.
Did I lose you again?
Nope, just making more editing work for you.
uh yeah, no, I agree. I think the changes play really well to 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 Bella Ramsey, who I think has done a really fantastic job. Um, I think my favorite, because again they like slightly changed stuff. Obviously with like the whole like council setup of oh my god, the town Jackson, um, and how like like people vote on things and stuff like that. Whereas in the game, I'm not realizing Maria might be Tommy's wife.
Yes. I think you're right.
Terrible at remembering names.
Yeah,
Um,
I am too.
but like you kind of just like have to go through her. She's kind of the decision maker, but in the show, she's obviously still the chairman of the council, but there are other people who vote on decisions and stuff like that, which I think makes sense in a some sort of post-apocalyptic uh, society, right? Like, um, and so with that, you kind of get like a bit more put into Jesse and how like he's kind of this like to be leader of the people and everything like that, and uh, I just felt totally enthralled with the performance of Jesse for the show. Like you were like, I felt like I was hanging on every single word that he said because he felt so much more impactful in the show than he really felt in the game for me. And maybe it's just because I haven't played the game in so long, but um, I really really liked literally every scene that he was in and every conversation that he had with Ellie. The entire last episode, everything he said, Shelby and I just kept giving like each other looks because it's like he's like at one point he said, "All I care about is like finding Tommy and getting out of Seattle alive." And Shelby and I just kept looking at each other because it's like, brother, you'll find Tommy. Not so positive about the other part. Just like, oh man, so many moments like that that were kind of unfortunately funny, I guess would be the way of saying it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he felt again, maybe he was like super like tough and like hard on Ellie in the game as well, but it felt even like harder. He was very harsh with his words when Ellie sees the aquarium and the Ferris wheel and is like, "That's where I have to go." And he felt extra hard on her in that moment of like, "You're a crazy person. Like, what is your problem, right?" Like, and again, maybe it was kind of the same in the game, but probably like my shining moment, honestly, of the entire season was, or one of my like underrated moments, I would say, is was Jesse. But yeah, I thought really all of the performances were really good, um, and really excited to see how they keep going. Sounds like it's gonna be 4 seasons in total to really be able to fully tell the story of part two. So
Yeah. So go ahead.
no, you.
So what do you think the timing is going to be? Because I feel like I mean it certainly can't be 2 years again.
Until they release the next season,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to sit down when I tell you this.
Oh no.
It is absolutely going to be 2 years. If we're lucky, late 2026, but I wouldn't hold my breath with just like TV and like like TV creation stuff like that is just so slow anymore. Um, obviously, I would imagine there's a great bit of work. I'm not trying to diminish it by any means, but a great bit of work that goes into it for us to only get 7 episodes. My best guess is 2027 is when we'll actually get it.
Hmm. I feel like that's tough.
Very tough.
I like the show's been successful. I feel like you need to start pumping more resources into it to get it out sooner.
The only thing I could say is that, like, if you think about it, if things are happening at the same time, it would kind of make sense to shoot those things in succession. But like, you have the scene where Ellie's at the aquarium, right? You obviously have stuff that happens before Ellie gets there that happens at the aquarium, and then you have moments that happen after that. So it would make sense
Right.
to shoot that chronologically.
Right.
But
I
I don't
agree.
know if they do, and I don't know if they did, and so that would be the saving grace, though. If they did, I would imagine that, like, okay, obviously still a lot of work that has to go into editing, maybe any reshoots and stuff like that, but maybe you can get it out in a semi-reasonable timeline. But
6 months.
yeah, but I don't. I wouldn't hold my breath, which is very unfortunate.
Hmm.
And it's unfortunate because my guess is season 2 will also be, or God, I keep saying season 2 because it's like season 2 of part 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the way to break it down. But season 3 is probably, I would imagine, also only going to be 7 episodes. And then, you know, it really becomes a question of, like, what is the cutoff point? There's a very easy cutoff point for this season, you know, at the theater and everything like that. What's going to be the cutoff point of season 3 from the game perspective? I would imagine the theater as well. Well, it only took 3 days to get to the theater. It took 3 days in Seattle to get to the theater. And obviously, you're going to be starting on day 1 for episode 1, whereas episode 1 of this season was just outside of Jackson, right? And like, you didn't hit Seattle until episode 4. Episode 4 and episode 5 were Seattle. Episode 6 was the flashback. Episode 7 was day 3, right? I think was how that kind of worked.
I
So
think so.
yeah, so you have to kind of like question, like, okay, well, a natural end to season 3 would also be the same moment effectively at the theater. Basically, the fallout of what happens just after you cut to black. But you could also have, you know, well, yeah, I guess season 3 could end with like Ellie being back in Jackson, licking her wounds, and basically like Tommy kind of being the one to say, like, what the fuck, go kill that person, and then making the decision to like head back out or whatever. I don't know. It's very interesting to try and think about how they're gonna to do that. Because on the one hand, I can see how this could take a 4th season to try and feel like you have to tell the whole story. But then I question, how long would that season be? And you run into issues with pacing and stuff like that. And also, if it takes 2 years to get to season 3, that's 2027, and then you're looking at not finishing the show until 2029, 2030, which doesn't even feel like a real year. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
Um,
Like it's hard because I don't want it to take that long, but also like I know the story. It's I don't know.
yeah, I mean, there's no
I've just never seen a show do this.
what take so long between.
Yeah, I've never seen a show like consistently do 2 years in between seasons
You
or like
watched
release every 2 years.
you watched Fallout, right?
Yes,
You really enjoyed it, right?
I did.
When do you think we're getting season 2 of that?
I don't know. I didn't think about it till now.
I've
I didn't even really know there was going to be a season 2 until I think I was watching an interview with Walter Goggins or something.
yeah. Well, I have unfortunate news. The good news is there will be a season 2. When will it come out? And that's show business. That's TV, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, I really don't care. I mean, we could have none of these shows, and I don't think my life would be all that different.
True, but it is great that we get them and then have the opportunity to discuss our
Yeah,
feelings
fully.
like a little book club.
Yep.
Any other huge callouts for you for the season as a whole?
No, I don't. I don't think so. Um, yeah, like I said, I know I said my life wouldn't be different if it didn't exist, but still enjoyed it a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even though I know what's gonna happen, it's like there's still so much anticipation with every scene. So
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it does really feel like if you've played the game, it's refreshing that like the show isn't ruined for you, if that makes sense. Like you still know of like big moments and stuff like that, but it's kind of a matter of like how they're going to handle those moments. And there's obviously going to be differences and stuff like that. And I think that's yeah, I think that's fantastic. It kind of helps make it even more enjoyable um as a whole. So you can let us know your thoughts on season 2 of The Last of Us in the comments over on YouTube. Things you liked, things you didn't like. Like I said already, next week I think we'll be putting together maybe a little wish list for what we hope to see from summer's biggest gaming show, Summer Game Fest, as well as as always, Day of the Devs, the Xbox Showcase. So we'll do some like predicting and yeah, some hopes and dreams. And then June, as always, we'll be breaking down all the shows, getting an opportunity to talk about the things we're most excited for and stuff like that. So you can look forward to all of those things. As always, thank you all so much for listening. If you could leave us a rating or a review wherever you listen to the podcast, that would be appreciated. And if you could share the podcast with a friend, it would help us out. Other than that, we will talk to you next week.